So what we have understood primarily, this is something that we have noticed that, as I told, right, that raw materials is probably 60% or 50 to 60% spend that a foundry does out of the total expense. So if a foundry is spending 100 rupees a month, hypothetically, they're spending 50 to 60 rupees on raw materials. And what are these raw materials? It's primarily scrap. So they melt a lot of scrap in the furnace. Then you have pig iron. Pig iron is basically when you take iron ore from its natural form, process it, do a lot of things, not getting into technicalities, and you get pig, right? So pig has a standard chemistry, very known to all the people who are using it. They're primarily this foundry grade, steel grade, etc. So other than scrap and pig iron, you then add a lot of alloying elements. You add ferroalloys like bulk ferroalloys like ferrosilicon, silicomanganese, ferromanganese. You add a lot of noble ferroalloys like ferromoly, ferrovanadium, titanium. Then you have nodulizers, which is primary to add magnesium into the chemistry so that you can convert cast iron into ductile iron, right? And then you have inoculants in order to inoculate or make the graphite structure right. You have carbon additives like coke, various kind of coke, calcined petroleum coke, GPC, etc. So all these raw materials are required by a foundry, and there's a lot of suppliers, traders, importers, manufacturers who are supplying this. But there was not any single one-stop solution for these foundries where all of the suppliers were supplying all of these raw materials all together. And that's when Now Purchase came into foray in 2017, 2018. And the primary motive was to streamline the supply chain. No foundry owner wants, so it's not about the best quality of raw material, or it's not about the most expensive raw material out there in the market. It's primarily about delivering consistent quality of raw material so that the melter, the foundry owner, and the technical people in the foundry, they're aware about what kind of chemistry comes in day out. So that the thing that they're melting, they are aware about the chemistry that is coming in, what they are wanting to manufacture, and in that way, they are able to reduce the rejection rates to the lowest. Right? Yeah, just go ahead. This is the ecosystem that we are trying to build. So as I told, right, most of these suppliers are either supplying the bulk ferroalloys, or there are traders. You go to Howrah, Belilius Road, you would see a lot of scrap traders. So either there are traders who are supplying only scrap, there are largest of the manufacturers who are manufacturing and supplying pig, and then you have a lot of small traders and importers, etc., who are supplying the other alloying elements of nodulizers, inoculants, coke, etc. Now Purchase started off primarily with the thought process of being a marketplace. So initially we thought of being an open marketplace. Right now we are working in a model of a closed marketplace where we are kind of that one-stop solution for all these foundry people, right? For all their raw material needs. So whatever raw material you require, we are there to supply it so that you don't have to worry about the supply chain, about the procurement, about the quality, about timely delivery, and all these nuances that any foundry owner, purchaser has in their mind, right? Yeah, this way. Again, as I told, scrap recycling in general is one of the industries that is coming up at scale in the days to come. Uses of scrap in India is still now very limited, but as days are passing by, more of the steel plants are adopting it, more of the foundries are adopting it, and we would see no more, less than another 10 to 15 years where a lot of these foundries and steel manufacturers would heavily rely on their raw materials as scrap only, and of course with the alloying elements. So we are seeing this global shift. Of course, Europe has come up with certain nuances like CBAM. You have in US, you have the carbon trading systems where they are primarily ensuring that these manufacturers use scrap in order to reduce the global carbon footprint. Yeah, you can skip ahead through this. Yeah. So this is something that I would want to talk about, right? So exactly what are we doing as part of implementing technology in foundries, right? To give you some example, I would just like to send, can I send a video to you? Can you play that video? Is the software that we are trying to build. What we observed was that everything is manual. The mentor is noting down everything on a log sheet, and so ideally the process is you take a lot of scrap, you take pig, you take a bit of alloying elements, you put it in the furnace, you melt it. That's how it works in the industry, I'm telling you guys. You melt it, then after a while you take a sample, that's called the bath sample. You take it, you go to a spectrometer, you do a spectral analysis of it, you see what's the bath chemistry. So suppose you are manufacturing some grade ABC, right? And that grade needs to have silicon itna, carbon itna, etc. elements itna. So you take that sample, you put it in a spectro, you see what is the chemistry. And you see मेरे को silicon चाहिए था 4 से 5. You in bath you have 3 to 4. So the melter का एक लाइन का बात है कि आप silicon डाल दो, ठीक है? And how they used to put silicon? It's with years of experience. They have been doing this for the last 30 years. So he exactly knows कि 200 kg silicon ये चार्ट पे मैं डालूंगा तो मेरा 3 से 4% silicon 4 से 5% हो जाएगा. अगर मेरे को कार्बन चाहिए होगा say 2 to 3 and my carbon right now is coming 1.2 to 1.5, he will come and tell you, okay, आप GPC डाल दो 50 kg. That's how the melter, that's how the foundries used to work till now. What we did was we built a charge mix optimization software. Most of you here must have read about linear programming. It's going. It's a bit large video, I think. It used to be a very manual process. So most of you must have read linear programming somewhere in your maths or maths 1, 2, whatever courses you have taken in the 4 years. Linear programming is there in class 2 as well. It's from a very basic concept. You have some constraints, you have some parameters, and then you have some equations to solve. It must be that the number of variables you need to solve, the number of equations should be equal to or more than that, or else you have no solution, right? And that is the fundamental principle basis on which we try to solve this problem of optimizing your charge mix. So what we do is we try to know from your inventory, we get the data from your inventory on what are the raw materials available with you right now, what is the target chemistry you are trying to achieve, what is the bath chemistry you are having right now on basis of the charge that you have put inside the furnace, and then we give you an exact addition or dilution suggestion. So we tell you that वो जो heat and trial में चलता था, right? The mentor used to tell कि हाँ 50 kg डाल दो तो वो कार्बन 1.2 से 2.5 चला जाएगा जो केमिस्ट्री में आएगा. बट इट माइट बी दैट 2.5 नहीं चाहिए, 2.3 ही चाहिए. तो 50 kg की जगह 48 kg डालने से भी चल जाता. 2 kg कार्बन सेविंग इन अ हीट इज बेसिकली 100 rupees of saving if it's GPC, right? That precise calculation is somewhere that was missing in the foundries, and that's where we started off developing Metal Cloud. And since then we have built on a lot of modules. We have tried to digitize the entire melting operations. We have done pilot projects with the largest of foundries, railway foundries, largest of brick manufacturing foundries in India. And yeah, can you just go to the PPT once in the last slide? Yeah, it's not coming. Foundries, right? To give you some context, here the bath chemistry is showing up, right? And these are the elements where the chemistry is out of the range that they want. And then you have the addition, dilution, solution. Just go to the next slide. Yeah, back. Yeah. So here you can see the addition, dilution solutions that this software automatically suggests. So there's no heat and trial anymore involved. You save a lot of money on the optimized use of raw materials. Even if you are saving say 10 kg of total of worth of raw materials, including all of them, you are probably saving ballpark 10 to 20 lakhs per month in your raw material costs, right? Go ahead. It's not coming. It's a large size video. So this is the ecosystem that we are trying to build, right? We believe that data is coming in from multiple places. It's coming in from furnace, spectro, inventory. Metal Cloud is that software layer in the between, which takes all of this data and try to give the insights that the exact stakeholder requires. So the insights a management or a foundry owner requires is different from the insights that probably a mentor requires, and that is different from the insights that probably a purchaser requires, right? And Metal Cloud is exactly trying to solve for that. Yeah, go ahead, please. You can put it on full screen and go ahead. Well, again, these are some of the modules and screenshots of the software that we are using. I really wanted to show a video which I am not able to send these guys, but it's primarily on computer vision. So what we are doing, this project we have taken up around 8 to 10 months back, and this has to do with a very simple thing. It's like CCTV cameras are there everywhere. Every manufacturing facility has a CCTV camera, and these CCTV cameras record everything that goes on a shop floor 24/7. But no one really sees these CCTV cameras. इसको कोई देखते नहीं है बाद में. कोई एक मॉनिटरिंग रूम में वो एक बड़ा पैनल 20 तो टीवी चल रहा है, उसमें CCTV कैमरा चल रहा है, ये होता होगा. बट कोई भी वो उसको फॉलो नहीं कर रहा है. You might have supervisors for your foundries, but those supervisors are also people who are there for 8 hours, 10 hours on shifts, and then they're missing out. So what we have done is we taken this feed from the CCTV cameras, and I don't know how many of you are aware or hear about computer vision, right? So computer vision is based on something called as YOLO transformer model, जो LLM के ऊपर based है, like ChatGPT. It's basically trained on the fact, तो आपका जो CCTV कैमरा से feed आएगा, उसको मैं 6 महीना तक या 2 महीना तक उसको मैं record करूँगा, and we will train it. So after training it, my model will exactly know on what is your SOP. So you must have an SOP, right? To give you a very simple context, कोई बंदा helmet नहीं पहना हुआ है. That is a safety and compliance issue. My model will automatically flag it and tell that this is not according to the safety and compliance as required. And how does it do it? It captures that feed from the CCTV camera. It sees a worker that is working but not wearing a helmet, and it immediately flags to all the stakeholders involved that this X person, this X worker in your foundry is not following the norm of safety and compliance. This is a very, very trivial example that I gave you, but this could be applied to the entire process of melting and then molding and then fettling and then machining. You could just use the pair of eyes that is already there in your industry, in your shop floor, in order to ensure that you have better compliances, you have better SOPs, you have better process parameters and everything. Yeah, this one. Well, you can just skip this. Yeah, you can skip this. Skip this. So again, this is one of the very simple case studies that we did at one of the largest foundries of railway manufacturing in India, and this is where we primarily got the idea that probably there's a lot of scope of technology, AI, and things like computer vision, things like LLM, which are coming up on nowadays. We have even built a chatbot. I would share the link with sir. It's called a metallurgist chatbot. You ask any questions related to metallurgy to it and it answers. And it's primarily built on a RAG model where we have trained that bot in order to ensure that it has the data of 1,000 plus metallurgy books out there in the market, right? So, yeah, in one line, what I would like to say is that the entire nuance की जो foundry industry है, ये तो पूरा it's like walking on a shop floor जहाँ पे पूरा धूल मिट्टी में आप पूरा दिन काम करोगे. And in the last 5 years, 7 years, I've seen this in I go to every year at Jadavpur for campus interview, and the common trend I have seen is सबका CV में 4-5 चीजें common होता है आज के दिन पे, be it mechanical, be it electrical, be it any of the streams, they all have SQL, Power BI, Python written in the CV. Everyone is a data analyst on today's date. Everyone is trying to build a career on data science. And I am not asking you to not build one. What I am asking you to is build one in the foundry industry. There's a lot of scope, not only in foundry, in manufacturing in general is what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of scope of, if you want to build a career in manufacturing per se, there's a lot of scope and opportunities over there as well. And if you want to build a career in manufacturing, but from the purview of technology, then also there's a lot of scope and opportunities available And companies like ours, companies like Ripic, and there's a lot of others who are trying to build on this end. So yeah, that's all from my end. Thank you so much, and it's been a pleasure being over here. Thank you all for